And by the way, class, don't forget to attach your rubric. I'm only going to say that once. Go ahead, Sydney. Let's give it up for Sydney once again. Is the paperwork? Turn it on, please. Oh wait, you know what? I'll take roller. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Wait, just wait for my cue.
Okay. Rape is a common occurrence in our day-to-day. According to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 33 men will be raped in their lifetime. But what is it? Rape is defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary as an unlawful sexual activity and usually sexual intercourse carried out forcibly or under threat of injury against the will, usually of a female, or with a person under a certain age or incapable of valid consent. An egregious violation. According to WAVAW, Rape Crisis Center, the rape culture was first used in the 70s by feminists wanting to show the ways society blames victims of sexual assault and normalizing male violence. It has now been extended into media, advertisement, jokes, and laws. But is rape culture really prevalent in American society today? I'm talking about those blurred lines. I know you want it. Today, I'm going to guide you through the many arguments surrounding rape culture and its examples. We will start with the argument that rape culture is real. We will then listen to the argument that rape culture is not real and it is all a myth. Finally, we will talk about the supposed examples of rape culture in our society and whether it showcases real rape culture. These are the points we'll be covering during this duration of this speech. I hope by the end of this speech you will be able to have a better understanding of rape culture and you can decide for yourself whether it is or not real. Unfortunately, for many women, children, and even some men, rape is a reality and surviving is something they have to deal with. But was their rape really an event that was conditioned into our perpetrators' brains by society and our culture? Is rape culture real? According to Zerlinda Maxwell of Time magazine, rape culture is characterized by sexual violence being the accepted norm and where victims are blamed for their own sexual assaults. Maxwell included some responses from women on Twitter using the hashtag rape culture is true. Rape culture is when. Here are some responses. Rape culture is when we teach women not to get raped instead of teaching men not to rape. Rape culture is when women come forward or are questioned about what they are wearing. Rape culture is when the lyrics of Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines mirror the words of actual rapists and is still the #1 song in our country. Rape culture is when colleges are more concerned with getting sued by assailants than in supporting survivors. According to the National Institute of Justice, about 85 to 90% of sexual assaults reported by college women are perpetrated by someone known to the victim. About half occur on a date. The victim has to live with the reality that they have been raped. They have to deal with the effect that the rape had on their life. In a testimony that I actually got from someone that I know who's been raped twice, she said, "When my husband and I were dating, we never slept together. He knew about my past as a child getting violently gang raped in an alley when I was 11, and then later when I was 16 getting date raped in a car. He was very sympathetic towards me and helped me continue to cope with my multiple rape cases. And even though I knew he loved me and he wasn't going to hurt me, we did not have sex on our wedding night because I was not ready. Both sexual assault experiences I've had shaped me to continue to haunt me well into my life." One can argue that we don't go going around condoning rape on the streets or at parties. If someone sees a child or other person getting raped, they will undoubtedly try to stop it in another way. Moving on, many credible people argue that rape culture is real and that it is a problem to be fixed in our society. But there are so many other equally credible people arguing that rape culture is not real. Is rape culture a myth? In an article published in Time magazine, journalist Caroline Kitchen states, "Rape is a horrific crime and rapists are despised. We have strict laws that Americans want to see enforced. Though rape is certainly a serious problem, there is no evidence that it is considered a cultural norm. The idea of rape culture being widely accepted by all Americans as a cultural norm can be seen as absurd. According to Heather Wilhelm's article, The Rape Culture Lie, Zero Shades of Grey, our government has fed into the lie that 1 in 5 women in college campuses have been sexually assaulted during her college years. That means 20% of every woman in college will get raped. It's an absurd number. The idea that she goes on to show that this statistic has been discredited by the very people, the CDC, who came up with this test. It's not true because the study only used 2 private universities, one in the Midwest and one in the South. The study also used extremely vague questions that categorize kissing and rubbing up against someone when you're dancing as sexual assault. While many people argue rape culture is not real, as mentioned before, many people do believe that it is real. There are so many examples of protests, movements, and rape cases that showcase rape culture and whether it is absurdity or reality. What are some examples of rape culture? Protests are a big example of freedom of speech in our country, and protests against rape are a huge fad on college campuses. Mattress Girl, aka Emma Solkowitz, carried her dorm mattress around school during her senior year of college after claiming that another student raped her in 2012. She even carried it around during her college graduation. Later, it has been questioned whether her case was sexual abuse and physical abuse, as she claims. This stunt also humiliated the accuser. Not only did he still go to the school, but he graduated at the same time as her. During Stanford commencement ceremony that May, this is a different case, sorry. During a Stanford commencement ceremony this last May, some of those graduating held up signs showing outcry against fellow Stanford student Brock Turner's lenient 6-month sentence after being found guilty of sexual assault. Some popular rape cases that are able to help us see rape culture. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a new documentary on Netflix called Audrey and Daisy. Audrey was a 15-year-old high school sophomore. She attended a party, she got drunk, she passed out in a room on her own. Some guys that she had known growing up all her life, she had been friends with them. They went into the room, they sexually assaulted her, they drew all over her body, and they undressed her. When she woke up, she didn't know what had happened, but saw all these drawings all over her body. She later found out that they took pictures of it and had been passing it around during school. She asked the boys, she begged them to get rid of the pictures, they didn't. After getting slut-shamed at school, Audrey Pott took her life a little over a week after the incident. The case was then investigated by the school, and they were found guilty. The parents of Audrey Pott pressed charges, and the boys were charged and had to make a public apology to the parents, community service, and participate in a documentary about rape, which is Audrey and Daisy. In Daisy's case, something similar happened in early January of 2012. She was 14. She and her friend were at home. They were getting drunk, and some guys came and picked them up. They were upperclassmen, they were athletes, they were seniors, they were about to graduate. The girls were taken to Matthew Barnett's house, who assaulted Daisy later that night, while another athlete filmed.
Start with conclusion.
Okay. Do we live in a culture that promotes rape? I don't know, but I hope you have enough evidence to make a decision. This speech started with talking about rape culture being a real culture that our society lives by. Next, we talked about how rape culture could be a myth and just a product of feminist hysteria. Lastly, we talked about protests and cases of rape in the past year. Is rape culture real or not?
Yeah, just hit the button.
Yeah.
So